we go from the freezer straight to the grinder. You can do that.
I just spelled my geisha. Grab a straw. What's up everyone, my name is Dario and this is Barney and Luke here. We're going to be talking to you about our latest release, which is a very special coffee from Panama, from the producers, Janson Coffee. It's our second release from this farm ever. They just happen to both be this year. And two very similar coffees. Both naturally processed geisha varietals, lot 653, some of you would have tasted that already, and lot 629. Which we'll be releasing on Friday the 29th of July. We'll be roasting it in the first week of August and shipping out to you fine coffee enthusiasts at home. You legends, let's be honest, you're legends. Yeah, exactly. So before we jump into coffee specifics, and you can hear our kettles boiling away, so I hope that's not too loud, but before we get into coffee specifics, and let's actually pause this thing. Okay, so before we get into the coffee specifics, I'd like to talk a little bit about our Nano lot program. I think you might be able to see our freezer in the background over here. We are, as a roastery, very excited about like two areas of coffee. We want to raise the bottom, in other words, we want to make the worst coffee available better. And we want to obviously then raise the ceiling. We want to push quality, we want to push taste experiences. You know, specific to this coffee, and that's why hopefully you're watching this video, is to learn about our Janson Panama Geisha lot 629. When we first received samples from Janson this year, it was, you know, if I take a step back, I met Kai Janson in Milan last year. He brewed some coffee for Steve and I. It was a great experience. The coffees tasted amazing. I got back from Milan and immediately got in touch. They were kind enough to get some samples to us. And of the samples on the cupping table, these two lots jumped out at us. And on first impressions, lot 653, which we've already released, was my favorite. But after sample roasting with the coffees when they arrived, 629 actually presented itself with, I found, more complexity, more sweetness, and a more interesting acidity. So I'm really excited to share this coffee with you. I did some sample roasting over the last weekend and brewed it at home a whole bunch, and unfortunately didn't leave any for you guys, so sorry about that.
Tough times.
So we're actually going to be brewing lot 653 today, but in my tests, the approach that I would take to the coffee would be exactly the same. They are, from a brewing perspective, pretty much exactly the same for me, to bring out the best characteristics, which makes sense. Two different lots, same farm, same varietal, same processing, and just processed maybe on different days or picked on different days, hence the different lot numbers. So very confident in this recipe. We're going to be brewing on the April dripper. We'll be bringing a bunch of these in later this year, early next year, but a lot of you have got the Kalita, very similar in the way that it percolates and the way that it brews. If you aren't brewing on a flat bottom brewer and you are favoring a cone brewer like the Cafe flower dripper that we bring in, or a Hario V60, I would say the adjustment that you would want to make to this brew method would probably be to coarsen up your grind slightly. We ground sort of in the medium zone, a bit finer than what a lot of our other recipes have been in the past. On our E65S, on our EK43S, we're grinding at 12.5, and on the Comandante that would translate to about 22 clicks. So, should we brew some coffee?
Yeah, let's do it.
Alright. So we're going to be brewing with our water at 92 degrees. We're brewing with the Kalita 185 filter, not the April filter at the moment, but if you do have the April filter, this recipe works really well. The drawdown time seems to be quite similar. So Casey, obviously will edit this part out.
We haven't spoken about geisha at all.
While I prep my brewer, I'm just going to thoroughly rinse this filter, just get rid of any paper particles, any residue from the bleaching process. We want a clean filter, and
preheated brewer as well.
A preheated brewer, exactly.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So finally, while I brew, do you want to tell us a bit about Geisha, a bit about the processing method, like what it looks like? And
Yeah, certainly. I actually don't know what the processing method on these coffees are, to be honest. Just remind me. Is it just a pure natural, right? Fantastic. It's a natural Geisha. So Geisha, for those of you that don't know, it's an incredibly special varietal. A couple of years ago, in Panama, Geisha started being harvested and rose to prominence on like the World Roastery Championship stage for its delicate floral characteristic and incredible sweetness. Prolifically, Brew won the Roastery Champs in 2016 with a Geisha from I think Brewer, I believe. And a couple of years before that, there were a few guys who also used Panama Geishas to win the competition. Panama Geishas are renowned for being incredibly floral coffees. So there's like a lot of jasmine white floral characteristics, beautiful balanced fruit sweetness, and a very delicate flavor characteristic, while still having a lot of positive textural characteristics. And I think that, the Geisha is also just incredibly rare and difficult to grow, hence the expensive price. It's a natural Geisha, so there's not a lot clouding the flavor of the crop itself. The terroir is very present in the cup. And I think it's a really good representation of what Geisha tastes like in 2022. I think that the producers did an incredible job with this coffee, and we're very lucky to get to work with it.
absolutely. So I'm going to go for my second pour now. We had a 1 minute 30 bloom, which is a very long bloom for many of you, compared to what you would normally be doing. But we just want that coffee to completely saturate and for a longer total brew time without having to adjust our pour structure or grind setting. And this is how we're finding a really balanced cup profile from a texture, sweetness and acidity point of view, and tends to work really well across a lot of different coffees.
Yeah, for sure. I think that the application of water to coffee is being done in a very good manner, so the resulting extraction and TDS is very pleasant.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's lovely, man.
Has this been a popular coffee in the freezer?
It has. So main thing we need to talk about with the freezer is the price. It's the price I would like to kind of touch on. People look at that and they're first intrigued on why these coffees are expensive, why they have to be priced at this way on bar. So people tend to have more of an interest trying them out for that once in a lifetime type of coffee experience. And again, it kind of adds to the responsibility of the barista to ensure that the brew is good,
Really good.
to show the value of the coffee.
Which is where consistency is so important.
Exactly.
So just to give you an update, we are through and just on 3 minutes total brew time.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to stir to integrate all the different layers of extraction. We want to have a balanced cup, and we're going to get to drink this, which is amazing.
Delicious.
So lots 6 to 9 will be released in a 250 gram bag and a 1 kilo bag like normal. And we'll also be releasing it in, sorry dude, you got the short end. We'll also be releasing it in 6 20 gram ready to freeze tubes, exactly like what we would have in our freezer for those of you who are freezing at home. So the obvious next conversation is around flavor notes.
Yeah.
What are you guys tasting? I know that this is a different coffee.
Yeah.
This is the 653, which isn't available. So let's talk more about characteristics now.
Yeah,
Specific flavor.
certainly. I found a lot of like sherbety effervescent sweetness. I perceived the characteristic. I know you told me just like, characteristics, but there was a very distinct line of sherbet notes that I picked out in the sweetness and the acidity initially.
I'm going with like quite a red grape.
Yeah, there's like a lot of like, there was definitely a little bit of like that tartaric acidity that we've been speaking about recently.
Absolutely.
I think that, and then there's just like a lot of soft yellow fruits, a lot of soft yellow fruits.
And that's where, for me, that's a perfect tie-in
Yeah.
to the new release.
Yeah.
So in Brewing lot 629 this last weekend, it's an extremely floral coffee.
Yeah.
A lot more floral than our previous Jansen release. It's very delicate. It's got an incredible sweetness. I would say that you're looking for more citrus notes, clementines, and there's like a bit of a vanilla spice sort of element coming through, which is absolutely incredible.